Ladies and gentlemen, as we're moving forward with the EKYC, this is wonderful to know the technology as well as the practitioner's perspective. Now let's take it to the industry perspective as well, and of course the perspective on the entire summit to go. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in now welcoming for his keynote address, the chairman of PBS 2025. Please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Atif Bajwa.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Governor Sahab, honorable delegates from the State Bank of Pakistan, very honorable speakers. Iqbal Sahab has just joined us now for what we were saving for the last, the Islamic banking session. So we want to end on a really high note, so we look forward to that conversation. We just quickly try to summarize some of the things that have been said here. So this is less of a keynote address and more of a summary of what has happened, and perhaps at the end, some pleas and appeal to the governor himself, and so that he comes up here, perhaps respond to that. Of course, starting off, all of you would know I'm a little long in the tooth as far as banking is concerned, probably one of the oldest bankers in this room, bar perhaps Irfan, he raises his hand, and of course my ustads and one of my first bosses in Citibank, Munir Kamal. And in all these years, 40 plus years, this is the first time the banking industry has come together to hold a summit. And that says something that we should have been doing, which we didn't do, but it also says that we now have a commitment to start, and we're not going to stop. And the chairman of PBA, Zafar, and of course the CEO of PBA, Munir Kamal, have that incredible commitment and energy to keep this thing going. And they have a fantastic team. Hafsa, who's been leading all of this, thank you very much to you and your team. So our ambition is to carry on. This is not necessarily just going to be an annual event. We want to take the learnings from here and then take this on as an ongoing exercise. We want to pick some specific subjects that come out from today and then follow it up with more discussions and conversations and perhaps some specific actions. The core objective of us getting together and starting this exercise, number one, is because we need to create a narrative that talks about banking as an important sector of the economy, which we are. It's unfortunate that the narrative has been generally against banking in Pakistan because it's been the favorite whipping boy, and part of the reason is because we've been quiet. We never got together. And we don't respond to criticisms. And I think sometimes those criticisms are misplaced. So I think we need to now stand up and start at least letting other people know our point of view. The other one, of course, other objective was to get together and have really well-renowned experts coming in internationally, as well as our own people here to talk about what's good, what's not so good, and what is the direction going forward. So learn from the expertise of the speakers, and then chart out a path for ourselves going forward. I think if I look at the last day and a half and the best yet to come, that we've achieved that second objective. We've, I think, had a very high quality conversation. The level of speakers has been excellent. And of course, we started out yesterday with the chairman of the PBA, Zafar Masood Saab, telling us about the role of banking and what we've done and what we haven't done. I won't repeat all of that, but I think it was very useful to learn. And also, he laid out some of the issues that we are facing in the presence of the finance minister then, and of course the Governor Saab as well. So I think that was a good start, followed by the finance minister himself making a speech and committing himself completely to the structural reforms that the government has promised under the IMF program, and also reminding us that some good things have happened already, and that at a macro level, perhaps we've seen this stability over the last year, which is no accident. It's actually because a lot of steps have begun to be taken. But the deeper reforms are yet to come, and it's good to hear that he's making that commitment that this will continue to happen. He also reminded us of the existential challenge that Pakistan faces, and he said there are two: population and climate. And that's absolutely true. Those are two things that we're probably not talking about as much as we should, but those are big problems. And I think perhaps, to my mind, the third one that should be added there is the mindset that unfortunately we have in this country. We ignore the problems and we don't learn from mistakes, and we don't get to the right policies and the policy framework that will allow us to come out of these problems. Of course, then we started our program with the speakers, and as I said, we've had a stellar list of speakers. Yesterday, we started off with Tansari Azman Mukhtar talking about global economics and his experiences and what could be applicable to Pakistan. We had Dr. Salman Ahmed also really opening up our eyes to what's happening in the world. What are the big trends that we see globally that are shifting so rapidly that perhaps in our own little cocoon in Pakistan, we don't see those implications. Yes, we see the headlines, but we don't see the implications of what is happening out there. So I think it was very refreshing to hear that global perspective. And that was followed by Dr. Asim Hussain, who gave us, again, an economic perspective, more focused on Pakistan and in comparison to some of the countries that we now compare ourselves with, which were, unfortunately, the ones that are ranked the lowest in economic performance in the world. There was a time, Governor Saab, when we used to compare ourselves with Asia. And we used to say we don't want to become an African country. Unfortunately, we are now not even, the African countries don't want us to be on their list of comparisons either. So we now are, unfortunately, in that position. So he woke us up to that reality, which we can't ignore. And then, these observations have been also, while depressing in a way and sobering in a way, and they gave us also that there is light at the end of the tunnel if you get your act right. And so that's where the conversation on resilience came in, and Dr. Kamal Munir talked about how Pakistan can be resilient. And he told us, what does it take to survive? And he said, it's not the strongest and the smartest that survive. It's those that can adapt to change. And so that's, in his presentation, there were lessons about, what's happening, what is change, and what should we do to bring about change in our country. This was then followed by the digitization conversation, and Professor Naveed Sultan from the Imperial College, who was a very senior city banker, he talked to us about the transition to a digital economy. And he also laid a very strong, I thought, simple looking, on paper at least, framework that can lead to a national digital policy. And, so we requested him to sometimes come and perhaps have a session with our regulators and our policy makers as well, to which he gladly agreed. And then we had Mr. Corey Thompson from Ashrik Bank, who came and told us about the evolution of digital adoption across the successful countries in the world. The next one, very importantly, was about sustainability and diversity. And Maria Smith from BI came and spoke to us about that. And she and Dr. Aisha Khan, who runs the Acumen Fund, also both spoke to us about these acronyms, SDG, ESG, sustainability, all these. What's behind that and what does it really mean? And essentially what we got is that, at the end of the day, this is about climate, it's about diversity, it is about doing the right thing. So it's not necessarily about money and making money always, but it is about doing the right thing. And that kind of links into the conversation that somebody had started about values and value. So if you have the right values to do the right thing, and sustainability, diversity is that, then it will lead to creating value as well. And then today, I think today's discussions will be probably more fresh in your minds, so, but I'll just quickly say, Alia Zafar spoke about the skills development and talent management issues. Wasif Rizvi of Habib University, I think he's one of the best storytellers that I know of. He's mesmerizing in the way that he puts together his thoughts with very little words. And so he did kind of tell us, diversify or die. Then we went on to the SME side, and on the SME side, Farhan from IFC spoke to us about the various experiences that IFC has been involved in the world to bring about energy in SME financing and unleash the potential of SME. And so we have a lot to learn from that. And then, of course, Deputy Governor Salimullah Saab came and spoke to us in detail about the right kind of approach that we must all take together as regulators and practitioners and the businesses to develop SMEs in this country. I think that was very, very useful for us. But some comments that I noted was that he said there is no compulsion from the regulator, but there must be good business cases. And therefore, market-based solutions are to be encouraged. And I think that is encouraging for us to actually go out and look for these business cases and do it, and we'll get the support of the regulator. And just recently, we've just done agriculture. Dr. Andre, Kazim Saeed, and Amir Aziz Saab, they spoke about the experiences that they've had in agriculture. South Africa was in there, Pakistan, and of course Amir just told us about this experience with HBL. And I think this is special, where we also need to recognize the power of banks. How we can, if we step out of our comfort zones and decide to make a difference in fields and sectors that are not our own, we can do it. Because we've got the capital, we've got the ability to do it. So I think that's inspiring, and I think it allows us to think about, transforming this economy using our strengths. Of course, the best is still to come. I keep saying that, so that summary will, I'm sure, be done at a later stage. But Governor Sahab, before you left, I thought it would be a good idea just to talk to you a little bit also. I mean, these learnings have been great. We've had a wake-up call, and I think it's up to us now to take these lessons and to try to implement solutions. I have to say that the role of the central bank and yourself, Governor Saab, has been a very positive one. I think this is no accident that the strongest sector in the economy is the banking sector. It is the regulator that makes a difference. And a strong regulator is all we need across the other sectors also, strong regulators, their KPIs are to enhance investment, to improve performance and efficiency, and to ensure that there is more investment coming in, as long as it's for the benefit of the customers at the end of it. And I think the State Bank does that. We have our issues also, sometimes we bring to you, but I think on the whole, we appreciate the fact that you are in a tough position. You yourself, you have been in a tough position because the economy has not been easy over the last few years. And yet, from about 2 years ago, when we didn't have the dollars to pay for our LCs, were near default, I think the measures that you took as the State Bank, and you enforced upon us some discipline, I think was very instrumental in bringing us to this stability that we have right now. You also have to take on battles with the politicians in Islamabad because, as I said, the banks are the favorite whipping boy, so we get bashed and you get called upon to go and defend the banking industry. But now we want to take up that role ourselves, to a large extent ourselves. So the narrative in Islamabad, where if you make too much money, you're automatically treated as a criminal. Or if they want to go easy on you, they'll tax you. So they've done that to the banking sector to the extent that now we are one of the largest tax-paying banking sectors in the region and perhaps in the world. So when 54% of our income goes to the government, they really should be treating us as partners. Because everything we do, if we do well, then they are partners in it. And unfortunately, that attitude is not quite what we would like it to be, and you, sir, are aware of that. The reality actually is that this is the most transparent sector. There is not a transaction that we don't report or the State Bank doesn't know about. It does not mean that all transactions are always clean, but at least they're reported. And if they're found to be wrong, then we take action. And then we report those actions to you as well. I think that's something you can't say for most sectors in the economy. And I think, again, there needs to be an appreciation that this group of people and the ones that work in the banking sector across Pakistan are fundamentally professionals and they have integrity in what they do. And sir, we are also patriotic. We do our job for the sake of this country. We have the interest of Pakistan at heart. We would like to do as much as we can for Pakistan. And you have seen in the last few months that when you've asked us to step forward, we have. And we will do, inshallah. But what we ask for, Governor Saab, and you know this and you are on board with us, is that we have a level playing field. We have a sustained policy that we can believe in and understand for a slightly longer period of time. That we are also treated with respect. I think if we have that, you will find this banking industry will actually take this economy to the next level and make you proud and make Pakistan proud of us. Thank you.